Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to this edition of the Halcyon Show. For those of you watching via Twitter, you're going to see me from here. From those of you watching on YouTube, you're going to see me here. The reason for that is because apparently you can't stream on one platform anymore. It doesn't work. It doesn't. It's not sufficient to be able to get a hold of you, the viewer, and maintain your attention for longer than 10 seconds. So I'm going to instead bombard your feed simultaneously, and I'm going to have to be cognizant of that as I normally address this camera, but now I must address this camera, and I've got to hope that hopefully my voice carries over across to the microphone that's currently facing dead into the desk. However, the reason I'm doing this this stream is not necessarily to bang on and on and on. You'll be relieved to hear. It's simply because I had a number of interviews scheduled this week. Hulk, obviously, that went live yesterday, was conducted on Monday. C Major we're going to have to reschedule, and it looks like Stro we're going to have to reschedule as well. It looks like he's had some travel problems, bless him. So we're going to reschedule both of those. In the interim, though, we've got two cards back to back. One for Premier Battles this weekend and one for No Loose Chat the following weekend. Don't Flop will likely have events scheduled going forward as well. No Loose Chat may follow up. You've also got TMR podcast. He's going to be doing his stuff and everything in between. Because my familiarity with the battle rap scene is kind of casual and it's intermittent at times, I'm not always familiar with everyone and what's going on. So what I'm here to do is to basically plead with you. I tell you what I will just do. I will normally, if you're watching on Twitter, I usually do my thing on YouTube almost exclusively, and I read the comments as I go along. It's one of the things that I'm usually praised for doing is actually interacting with the chat. As opposed to just ignoring it and then picking out the comments that I like. I try and, interact. For the purposes of this video, though, I'm just going to blast on for now, and then I'll come to those at the end if anyone's still watching and interested. But back to my point. Because my familiarity with battle rap is intermittent and it's not always consistent, plus I'm not always aware of what people have got going on outside of battle rap, unless I'm interviewing them, unless I'm going into the weeds of their career for an interview, and that can be sometimes time consuming, and ultimately as well it can lead to nothing. There are people that I've prepped interviews for, it's ultimately come to nothing. That's very time consuming, and to be honest, part of me doesn't want to waste a lot of time producing content, or at least preparing to produce content that ultimately comes to nothing, because that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to talk to you guys, here to provide you hopefully something that you want to watch. So I'm kind of putting out the plea. I'm saying to whoever watches this, take this, give it to someone that you think should be on my channel if you're aware of what I do. If you aren't, then I will, after I'm done streaming on both of these respective platforms, I will leave a link that you can send and say, hey, look, there's this guy, Lorne. He does interviews from time to time. He goes into the weeds. He'll ask you a bunch of questions. They'll be too deep, but then there'll be the occasional fun question. I'll also include a playlist of all of the interviews that I've done so that you have a frame of reference in order to present that to whomever you have in mind for this and say, look, hit Lorne up. Now, maybe what I'm garnering a little bit is, especially in battle rap, not everyone stands up well to an interview. I feel that sometimes in battle rap in particular, people feel like they're being interrogated, and that's not my will or want. My will and want is to give people an opportunity to talk about themselves in a way that they're not often invited to. There's a persona, there's a bravado that goes on at live events. There's a persona and a bravado that goes on in the spaces where it becomes a bit more of a friends catching up with friends sort of deal. I like to present battlers as I saw them when I started doing this, which is talented professionals and people whose careers have twists, turns, and things about them that can be studied and understood and venerated. And I want to afford that opportunity to people that I've not heard of. Not necessarily that it's a big I'm not saying it's a big platform. I'm not saying it's some big honor to do my show. Quite the contrary. It's my honor to interview them. But what I'm saying is that it's not always easy for me to identify people who would be good interviewees for my show. I have to be a fan of a lot of them first, and that's why a lot of times I'm always welcoming to the fact that people introduce me to them. They say, hey, Carl Anker is a good example of that. He's not a battle rap related, but he's a journalist. He's someone that I wasn't familiar with, but through my interviews with some guys at the Athletic and TIFO, I became aware of his work and I was an instant fan of his. To turn it to battle rap, Genesis Elijah was a musician that I wasn't necessarily familiar with until battle rap kind of moved me into his general direction. Then I started listening to his stuff, and now I'm a massive fan of Genesis Elijah. It's that sort of thing that I'm looking for, ideally, because I think, again, coming back to what I was discussing the other day on my, I did one of these, people on Twitter that are watching, all 5 of you, I did one of these the other day in, not response, but certainly a reaction to Premier Battles announcement, where I kind of was opining about the fact that, what do I do? You know, if Premier Battles have people that they're partnering with on a social media platform, you know, as far as the interviews, in terms of the public-facing aspect of it, you know, where does that leave me? You know, do I get a seat at that table? If not, what would I do? Considering that, again, I'm putting it to people that KOJ is going to be probably the person that they'll look to do a lot of either their punditry or analysis or their sort of loud, bombastic face, because he does live streaming and reactions at the moment. There are people within their sphere that already do content on a regular basis. I want to do something different, and I want to do something that's still valuable and hopefully entertaining for people. And I think that's still the interviews. I think, though, one of the problems I'm having, though, is sourcing guests that I have an awareness of and that I can study. So instead of offering people an interview where they may be intimidated by my questions or just kind of bombarded by them and thinking that, oh, God, why is this guy asking so many questions? Let me offer something different, which is I would love to have people on to preview their stuff and use that to segue into what they have done and what they have made. I'm trying to think of guys right now, but there are a few people who I've had on who it started as just sort of previewing a battle, and then over the course of the interview, it evolves into a preview of other things that they're working on, and then a recap of everything that they've achieved up until that point. Obviously, conversations with my earlier guests like Soul, Shuffle T, Tony D, even Bison Briggs. These were looking back at an entire career, 10, 15 years worth. The kind of guests I'm talking about are people that haven't been in battle rap for all that long. We're talking about people that have maybe only performed at a few events, people that have maybe had a bit of a streak but haven't had the rocket strapped to them to a certain degree. This is what I'm asking you to do, and I'm asking you to do some legwork in this, but the trade-off is that I get to provide you with content that hopefully you like to see. Is put this to them, give them this, send them this link, retweet this, tag them in, and say, you should go on the Halcyon Show, because the Halcyon Show, hopefully, as good as any, I'm not saying I do it better than anybody else, but as good as anybody else, will position you to be able to shout about what you've got coming up. I'd like to think I give my guests space to talk and to expand on their ideas and fully flesh them out. I also like to think I challenge them at times. I'd like to think that I give them plenty of pause for thought, and I ask questions that make them go, I might need to think about that. So it hopefully gives you guys something to get your teeth into when watching my stuff. It's not going to be, you've got this track and it's really good. Tell us how good it is. It's really good. Man, well, that's great to hear. It's hopefully something that you can watch and walk away with something. And that's always been my goal as a content creator, as far as my trying to evolve my take. But again, I'm stymied by the fact that my awareness of what battle rappers are out there, or what guys are working on what projects, is very limited because of the fact that I'm not always on Twitter. I do have a full-time job. I've got my kids to worry about and all the rest of this other jazz. So this is my plea to you and to any battlers that may be watching this. Hit me up. Let me know who you are. If I've not reached out to you personally, it's not to say I wouldn't love having you on. It might just be I don't know you, or I'm not sure how to approach you, because it's always been my experience that if I approach someone for an interview, it's because there's something I want to ask them about. For frame of reference, the 3 interviews that I had this week, Hulk, I wanted to ask him about his inclusion in the Premier Battles tournament, because I thought that was hilarious. Off camera, he was saying some stuff, and it was like, man, I wish I'd been recording, but what can you do, right? Nothing bad before anyone says anything or takes that under. It was just funny to me. Then you had C Major, obviously a prolific battler back in the day, but has also now become an accomplished music producer and musician. Tons of questions on that. And then Stro. Stro was supposed to be on today. Again, traffic problems, no hate, no issues there. But it was to preview the upcoming event for the weekend, but in a way that I can't. We were going to be talking about it from a booker's perspective, from someone that's got skin in the game. And a unique perspective. So this is what I'm saying. Let people know that I'm here, because I'm equally aware, by the way, that goes 2 ways. There are plenty of people within UK Battle Rap that have no fucking idea who I am and don't give a shit about some pokey little YouTube channel. But hopefully it's the kind of platform that would enable them to just sit, talk, share some stuff, have the opportunity to opine on other things. I think I try to set them up to be mutually beneficial, because ultimately I see it as a favor to me. They're giving me their time, insight, expertise, and I think that's always a good thing. So if anyone has any suggestions off the bat, by the way, reply. This, I think, has the ability to reply on the... You have to forgive me. I'm streaming on YouTube right now, as I say. I've got a comment section. There's 3 of you watching. You can comment and I can sort of tick along. And I'm probably... What I'm going to do is I'm going to hop off Twitter and hop on to my YouTube channel to finish the stream, because it's then just easier for me to collate all of the comments and whatnot. But yeah, leave me suggestions or tag people in that you think I should be approaching, or they should be saying, hey, you should go on Chat to Lawn. If I don't really get any traction with this, it's not to say that I'm not going to continue to try and find ways of producing content as it pertains to battle rap. It's just that, like I say, I'm very cognizant of the fact that Premier Battle is shifting into another gear, and they've got a plan in their mind for who they want involved in that. And I'm just being honest, I don't see me as being part of that for a variety of different reasons, and that's totally 100% fine. They have a vision that they're trying to realize. Okay, cool. I'm not really into the reactions at the moment. I feel like I'm just a fan when it comes to battle rap. I'm not someone that can offer a reaction other than, oh, that's funny, or, oh, that was dumb. I'm not an expert in terms of whether or not that was a good way to link those 2 lines, those 2 bars. It's just not what I can do well. There are infinitely more people who can do it infinitely better than me. I like the retrospectives. They're fun, but I don't know if people enjoy them necessarily. So it's one of those things where I'm a little bit hesitant to do those more regularly. And I don't know what other ideas there are out there, except for doing my interviews. Because even though I know other people have people on, again, Chubbs has done interviews in the past. I forget whose it is, but it's the... oh, gosh, I'm forgetting now. But there's another... I want to say it's like a... I forget whose it is, but there's another podcast that has guys on occasionally, does interviews. You got TMR, obviously. Prem have their own one. Shotty has his own one. Don't Flop used to, before they stopped producing content on a regular basis for a variety of reasons. You know, there's infinite outlets, but I do my interviews my way. And I'd like to think that the people that come on my show have a different experience, and that you, the viewer, has a different experience watching one of my shows. Mainly, and this is the sell, okay, when you click on the interview, right, you want to watch the person that's being interviewed more than the fucker that's talking, right? In mine, in Hulk's one, my camera failed, apparently, Zoom, cheers, and you only saw Hulk for an hour. Like, if that's not a sell to watch that interview, you get 1% of me and then 99% of Hulk. Come on now, you can't say fairer than that, can you? But my interviews are that way. I like to put the focus on my guest. I like to ask a question, put myself on mute, and then sit back like the rest of you and just hear what they have to say. Hopefully steer the conversation in an interesting direction. It would be nice to do those live. Maybe if that's what people would prefer, as opposed to just a pre-recorded interview where people can interject things from time to time. Or if you've got questions or whatever, I could explore that. Again, these are all suggestions that I'm happy to run with. I forget who it was, but someone asked, like, are you going to be making stuff while Prem goes on its, not hiatus, but it starts ramping up its production? I'd love to. I just want to know what you guys want to see, if you want to see anything at all. So please, I'm going to wrap on Twitter now, and then I'm going to say, look, if you have, because this is the thing, if I scroll up now, it says scroll up for older comments. It doesn't let me do it. I'm pressing all the buttons. It's not letting me see the comments. Stupid. And I'm assuming that it's flagged because there are comments that have come. So if you've commented and I haven't seen it, it's not me ignoring you. It's Twitter's being shit and it doesn't fucking lay out its things properly. But I'm going to end here on Twitter. YouTube people, I'll be with you in a second. Thanks all 8 of you for watching. And again, tag people, share this, tag me, DM me privately if you want to. I don't mind doing this again with a modicum of privacy. If there needs to be, you know, some, we've got to work out a few kinks, times, dates, all the rest of it, levels of interest. Like, what do you want to talk to me about? That sort of stuff. Cool. DM me. It's all good. I just really want to try and showcase people who I think I'm just either not aware of or they're not aware of me, and I'd like to utilize you guys who maybe are aware of some of the stuff that I've done in terms of the interviews that I've conducted with battlers or the reactions that I've done or whatever, and hopefully generate some cool stuff, especially while we're waiting for the we're all waiting for Prem to drop their shit. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, 11 of you on Twitter, thank you for joining me. People on YouTube who have commented, your prayers are right to be answered, because I'm about to answer your comments on there. And yeah, just do me the solid, because I can't tell you how much I love covering battle rap, but I can't emphasize enough. I just don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I want to do my own thing, and I want to make it as good as possible. If that means doing interviews, great. If it means doing something else, fine. But I need some idea as to what that is, because again, I feel like working with Prem or Don't Flop or No Loose Chat in a professional capacity, the opportunity isn't really there for me. So we'll see. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I haven't spoken to anyone about it, and I'd love to. But again, I have a track history, and so I understand it's well earned that they'd be like, well, we're not sure about that. So if I'm going to be doing my own thing, I want to make sure it's cool with whoever sees it or whoever's going to want to see it. So let me know what you think. Anyways, people on Twitter, tatty bye. People on YouTube, I'm gonna come to you now. So bye 11 people on Twitter. See you soon. Tag me in their stuff. Tag them to me, please. Thank you. Peace. The dismount's gonna be awful. There you go. Stop broadcast. There you go. So now people on Twitter, people of Twitter have been banished to the Twitter sphere. Null, Hadashrooms, and Troy, thank you for joining me. I can now address your comments. So Null's coming first. UKBR needs something new and refreshing. Let's hold a tournament with a bunch of names no one recognizes and make it judged, even though everyone agrees judge battles died for a reason. Well, this is the thing, Null. Premier battles, and this is why I just said the last little bit. Look, for me, I don't know anyone else that hypes battle rap as well as I do when you get me on a microphone. That's why I've always wanted to do the intros. I don't know anyone that studies battle rap's history when he's aware of it like I do, because I go into the fucking weeds and I want to understand the how and the why, not just the what. But I have history, so it's difficult for me to envisage myself as part of a vision of someone else when they already have a preconception of me. And that's fine. The other thing I would say about that is Prem have every right to realize that vision. If they think holding a tournament, pre-producing it, trying to garner a reputation for a certain level and quality and standard of a production is going to be the way forward, they have every right to try that. As far as the reasoning for why certain practices are now out of fashion, I mean, we'd have to study that more intently. I'm a big believer in one of the things that I think Prem need props for. I think they're shedding a lot of the notions, the emotional notions that battle rap fans hold, even some of the battlers hold, and they're saying, look, we're going to use our experience and we're taking the temperature of the room to progress things. We're not going to go with what constitutes conventional wisdom, because for me, I deal with this all the time. When you're dealing with an anecdotal or a subjective opinion, humans are the worst narrators and witnesses of history. You don't recall jack shit accurately. You have to look at data. You have to look at trends. You have to analyze things for the answer and then implement it and stick with it and then not look at ways of undermining it. So I understand that Null has a reticence to believe that this might be successful, but time will tell. And we need to afford them the opportunity to try. Hadashrooms, I'm a fan of the reacts and the retrospective interviews the most. I appreciate that, Hadashrooms. In fact, it might have been... Was it you, Hadashrooms, that asked if I was going to do more reactions? In which case, if people don't mind me doing them... Because here's the question I have for you. Is there room for me to do them when you've got Koj doing them? Like, I feel like he covers the reaction base. So you've got someone that does it. So my suggestion would be that if you want to see someone reacting to battles, you should... And obviously, you've got Ruin Your Day as well. They've been doing it for fucking ever. And I'm sure there's others. I'm sure there's other channels that... Because reactions are kind of... They're kind of base. It's a really simple, easy idea. It's why I started it, to see if it would... to see if it would hold water. Because then I build a viewer base that I can then hopefully transition into stuff I want to make, which is a lot of pre-produced, pre-written, high production stuff. It's like my gaming review show. That's what I always wanted to do. Write, host, present, produce, yada, yada, yada. Because I just find the whole process fascinating and fun. But yeah, I mean, as far as the retrospectives, I'd love to do more of those. I have 1,000 people I could do those on because they're super easy. And How to Stream's the interview, the interviews are the things I enjoy doing. As this, and again, I'm not, this week is not one of those weeks I'm having digs at people for falling through. I understand that there are legitimate reasons for people not being able to conduct interviews, i.e. real life. What I am saying, though, is that to the respective interviews this week, I've devoted maybe 5 hours of my personal time prepping for them. And that's ultimately now for nothing for now, and that's frustrating. So that's why I'm trying to change my tact a little bit and say that if people think I should interview people and they should be on my show, yada, 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 hopefully there's kind of a mutual understanding that it's mutually beneficial. Whereas when I approach people for interviews, I understand where my bread is buttered. They're doing me the favor. It's why I can't get too pissed off about not getting an interview, because it's not their, it's not incumbent upon them to, see, this is what I'm saying. There you go. I won't obviously go into detail. I happen to be aware that Strove, for instance, who was supposed to be on the show today, has had a fucking nightmare logistically today. So that's why I'm not mad about it. I'm just kind of annoyed that I don't have anything to show for my efforts, because I'm a productive person when I want to be. Anyways. A bit of BT dubs. Anyways, where were we? I'm going to go back to I was waffling. Let's go back to the comments. Troy, Wagwan. Troy, are you going to be at Prem this weekend, and are you going to be at No Loose Chat the weekend after? Full disclosure, everybody, I'm currently ill. So I'm hoping to get over whatever the fuck I caught yesterday and today, because I'm going to finish this stream and then I'm going to go to bed because I'm fucking dead. Yeah, what is everyone in the chat going to No Loose Chat and Prem? What we saying? To Hylas, welcome Hylas. There's a larger convo to be had here, and it's how Prem, especially with sorry, there's another comment. God, where is it? I've lost Hylas's. Oh, there it is. Especially with the names in the tourney, will be perceived largely as a very nerdy opposite to pen game. Perception of acapella, the personalities. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting thing to see if Prem lean in or out of the rivalry with pen game. And I, for one, wouldn't consider it a bad thing for Prem to have a legitimate rival. I mean, let's be honest. Since Prem's emergence, Don't Flop have not been the rival to them that we all thought that they probably should be, for a variety of different reasons. Pen Game are doing extraordinarily well by modern standards. Pen Game are doing well by modern standards. Prem are seeking to emulate them in a lot of ways now. And there's nothing wrong with being counterculture to that. If Prem is I made this point on a tweet the other day. Sorry for sniffing into the mic again. I am fucking ill. Blame the fucking air conditioning unit that I bought that's giving me cold. What was I saying? Battle rap may be too complicated and nuanced for a modern mainstream audience. Pen game isn't. Pen game is derivative and somewhat base. But then again, that's why it works. Because more people are able to grasp it. That's not to say that Prem can't make use of a rivalry between the two. I think that there's nothing wrong with having something where you're both looking over each other's respective shoulders, pushing each other to get better. Competition is almost always exclusively good for people who are attempting, especially if they're not really in the same industry. Let's both be honest. Battle rap is not on beat. We like to think it is, but it really isn't. And so long as you're not splitting the fan base and instead both are kind of generating their own orbits, that's not a bad thing. Let's go. The question is that fan base out there to be got. Yep, especially in the age demographic Pen we're looking for. It's going to be kind of nerdy fan base, though. They're never going to cross over. Maybe, but maybe not. It all depends on how it's sold. It all depends on how it's sold, Hylas. I routinely toy with the idea of trying to broach this subject with younger people in my sphere. As an example, when I used to go to the gyms, they're constantly inundated with the kinds of demographics of people you're talking about. 20-odd-year-olds who are younger guys who haven't quite aged out of the immature nature of their teens, but have disposable income, time on their hands, and are looking for something to get invested in. Like, I get that at the moment, selling battle rap to guys like that is a tough sell. But there's nothing that says that, again, a rivalry with Pen Game, especially if you can tighten the gap between the two in terms of the discrepancy in the viewer bases, couldn't be mutually beneficial. I think that that's something that a pre-produced, consistent content schedule would go some way to achieving. The problem would be how you maintain that once the pre-production schedule is over, unless you do it like a season thing, like you do it every 6 months. You know, it's really difficult to. Sorry, I'm gonna mute this because my phone's just beeping at me now. Sorry, bear with me. There you go. Right. But I think that there's mileage in Prem's. Yes, Hylas. Pen Game is base. Yes, and yeah, Hadastreams is right. So this is what I'm saying. That's why I like the fact that we all seem to be in general agreement about the general direction of this and the temperature of the room, but we're quibbling over details about what we would do if we were in Prem's position. It's why I pointed to it wasn't a prediction at the time, but it's now worked out to be a prediction, where my pitch for, look, you get a studio, you get an audience that are in for a recording, and you let them know, look, we're recording, so you need to shut up when we tell you to shut up. We need to move when you need to move. When we're live, fucking phones off. Focus on the shit. It isn't... These pre-produced things are not going to be social gatherings. These are going to be like a television recording. Your participation as a fan at that is to just put focus on the battles. They're going to be showcasing guys in a way that's different. So to people, the thing I would say, encourage people to think of in terms of the criticism of this so far, from some of the battlers in particular who say, yeah, we're putting a bunch of no names on the card. Right. That's the point. There is literally no point in having people on that you've heard of 1,000 times within the sphere. You're trying to attract lapsed fans initially, and then you're trying to attract new fans. And unfortunately, new fans are not necessarily going to be attracted to performers who they don't resonate with, i.e. older guys, number one, but number two, guys from a different era that are telling them all the time, you're wrong for thinking and feeling this. We don't get a say in what the younger generations think is cool. We just don't. We can denigrate it as much as we like, but the fact is that younger generations rebel against older generations in terms of their cultural dispositions and in terms of what their preferences are. You need to think about this like Jimmy Iovine used to, which is, I don't sell my music to people like me or myself. I sell my music to the kids that have got the money that will buy my music. And so constantly has to reinvent what he's selling to make sure that he's staying contemporary. And you do that by bringing in younger guys who do things differently and showcasing them like they're a big deal, which is what Prem is proposing to do. That's what they're trying to do. And so they could still fuck it up. This is not me on the Premier Battles hype train saying it's a dead cert and it's going to be... Because if I thought it was a dead cert, I'd be pushing more harder to be involved. I feel like if Gas can get an admin position there, I can... Listen, stick me in the back and give me a spreadsheet to work on, just so I can say I work for Pro. I'm not 100% convinced it will work. I'm encouraged, though. I think it's encouraged. They're looking at this from a much more analytical perspective rather than a historic or nostalgic perspective. If it was Briggsy, if it was Shotty, if it was Stro, if it was whoever it was behind the scenes at Prem pushed for this, they deserve commendation for flying in the face of conventional wisdom as battlers would have you believe. It's not to say that they're right. I'm just saying that it's worth a shot, because the worst case, and quote me on this, fucking film this, clip this right now. The worst case scenario is in a year's time, we're back here doing live events for a nominal audience that are passionate, fanatical, devoted, but ultimately numerically inferior to products that currently exist, and that will only garner more attention as they grow with the times. But that's just my opinion. 9 of you watching and the chat's blowing up. I'm going to have a fucking tough time keeping fucking track of who's saying what. One thing I will just try. Let me, can I? Where's the, where is it? There is a, someone said the other day, like, they want to see the chat on the screen here or something like that. I'll figure out how to get that back, because I would, again, I feel like, again, I lose control of the chat sometimes. It'd be handy if people could see what I'm seeing. Right, let's go through. Premier League dependent. So, yes, a heavily time limited acapella tournament is the thing. Maybe not. Again, no one really knows at the moment. Again, Prem are flying in the face of conventional battle rap wisdom and attempting to borrow off of, in particular, Briggsy's television experience and pre-production experience. You have to remember, man, for those of you who aren't... again, I have the benefit of this because I've interviewed a bunch of these guys, and part of my interview process is I look at their history and I look at what else they do. I try and find elements of what they're passionate about that they don't ever get a chance to talk about. If you take Briggsy an example, you follow him on LinkedIn, he works on a million different things, dude. Premier Battles is a focal point, sure, but it isn't the only thing he ever works on. He's also a pretty extensively well-networked guy. So he has a bunch of different perspectives and people he can lean on for advice when it comes to growing a business and brand. Infinitely more than you or I as fans are going to be able to offer him. We can offer him our opinions. We can't offer him our experience in what actually works in a commercial environment. So, again, if Briggsy's the driving force of this, which we don't know, I am speculating that it's him, you have to trust him. You have to trust the experience that... Even though, again, I understand the execution needs to be contemporized, but the philosophy remains the same, which is if you want to grow, you need to look at demographics markets where there is room to grow and expand into it by satiating a need or want. That's it. It's that simple. If you're not doing that, you are either stagnating or contracting. And that's death for a corporate enterprise or a business enterprise like Prem is. Listen to what, again, go back to the announcement. Briggsy was very adamant about treating it like a business rather than just, I guess, like a fucking, what's the word I'm looking at? Like a faction in wrestling, I guess. This isn't like a group of guys coming to take over. No, this is a group of guys who are trying to run a business and run it well. That means they're going to make money. And if they're not making money now, they're mad if they don't look at how they can change that. Oh, and I'm not saying... Noel's made a point there. Premier wishes a pen game as a rival. Their numbers are like 100,000. I'm not saying that they're a rival in the in numbers right now. No. What I'm saying is that it is. What I'm saying is though that there's intermingling between the two fandoms and there's a comparison between the two. That's the start of a rivalry. And if Pen Game at any point acknowledge Prem, that's it. That Prem are off to the races. And for my money, Prem are the only ones that stand to benefit from that because they're the ones that have been in the game for so long. They can tank a number of different tub stock because, again, I make the point. Worst case scenario, we are back right here where we started in a year's time. There's nothing to be ventured and nothing gained in this situation, guys. I really do need to stress that point. I feel like it needs to be acknowledged. And then we're into the Noel's making the point about the wrestling. Yes, and Noel, that's what Prem. So Noel's made a point here about the wrestling battle rap comparison. That's been my point all along. Again, I'll use the examples of Marlo and Shuffle T as guys who I just find hilariously entertaining. I don't give a fuck if they win their battles. I could not give less of a shit. Do you watch guys like Pedro because he wins battles? Do you watch guys like O'Shea because he wins battles? I get that battlers in of themselves would have winning streaks and they have competitive elements to them. And winning does factor at certain points in their history because there is a competitive element to battle rap. It's a battle, of course. There is almost a, are you swaying the audience to your side more than your opponent more often than not? I take that point. But so many battlers fixate on winning and losing rather than developing and cultivating that relationship with their audience. That is what is the focal point of my fandom of battle rap. I would find a battler that I loved and then I'd just devour their back catalogue. It's how I got into battle rap initially, was just through Shuffle T and Marlowe, and then it spins off into individual Shuffle battles and individual Marlowe battles, and then maybe some of their opponents, and then maybe some of their opponents' opponents. And then it becomes a fandom from there, and then suddenly I'm a fan of the whole thing. At the moment, there are no storylines. There are no characters that permeate that interest. It's not through a lack of technical ability. As much as I get that everyone's saying, no, it's because the new guys aren't as good and blah, 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 I reject that wholesale. Until someone fucking, and this is where Bobby's someone that I invited on for a debate, because I want to have a debate with him at one point on an equal footing. Not necessarily from an expertise level of battle rap, I'm not saying that. Of course, Bobby is infinitely better placed to judge battles, emphasize what works and doesn't work. I will contest him on certain logical points, though. And one of the logical fallacies of battle rap is this is good, this is bad. Dude, it's a subjective fucking genre. And until you put a fucking metric in place that means, oh no, this is how you judge a battle. Mark, 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 mark. Like a boxing match or like a wrestling match or a contact sport or a fucking ball game sport. I'm sorry. You're still at the mercy of what the fucking fans resonate with. And so this tournament, in its current guise, is Schrodinger's cat. No one knows if it's going to work or not, but people that are saying it's definitely not going to work because of the participants, man, you're missing the point. The point is to showcase people who have not been showcased before, and to showcase them in a way where they are going to take the opportunity with both hands and embellish what time they're given, what spotlight they're given, and Prem are promising effectively to do everything they can to showcase these people as potential stars. I can't stress enough that is such a good way of looking at it, but it's all in the execution of whether or not there are people along the way that recognize that. Again, the fact that they've already had a few people drop out for a variety of reasons is not an encouraging start. That Prem have already had to make maneuvers. And again, I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, because I have no insight on what the fuck happened with any battler that was supposed to be in it and isn't, or is now in it, whatever, right? I'm just saying, you got to give it time. You got to at least let them take the opportunity and try, because you only stand to benefit if they succeed, and it deserves and warrants your at least initial support. If you see the first one and you think, right, fuck this ain't for me, the battles are trash, the battlers are trash, whatever, that's different. But right now, no one really knows. Right, so Razren's in the house. What's going on, Raz? The politics of battle rap is always going to be a thing. It's in everything. Like, again, I work for a company and there's politics in that company. There were politics at the company I worked at before that. There's getting mad at the fact that there's hierarchies and there's ignorance in terms of how people approach things. Get mad about it all you want. You're better off doing something about it. Frankly, again, not to belabor the point, you can complain and critique all you want, but people have the right to reserve judgment and to reject your critique. Unfortunately, that's just, if you have the inalienable right to speak, people have the inalienable right to ignore you. That's just how that goes. Let's go. Okay, so the live element. Well, Prem are not saying that they're going to keep it behind closed doors forever. In fact, the current format is the quarterfinals onwards. That's when it goes back to being live again. So, and hopefully by that point, it's a case that the stories have developed. even if it's just the story of one person that no one expected to do well. Who knows? Again, and we also don't really know the execution of this yet. We've got some details, but there'll be a lot that we don't know about. And that when you see it, you go, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't realize they were going to do that. There's so much that you don't know yet. Again, Razran, give me a plug. Yeah, if anyone wants to send my stuff I'm trying to get to 1,000. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but we'll see what happens. But Raz, I appreciate you, brother. I interviewed Raz. His interview's available right now. It was a fun interview. You should go check it out if you haven't already. Right, let's have a look. Troy Owen rightly points out he runs his own production company. Yes, he also has the benefit of, like I said, a fantastic network of other content creators, other people that work in the television production industry. He's worked for Manchester United, I think, or at least in partnership with Manchester United. So, again, us as fans giving him feedback is one thing. Sitting down with people that have experience is especially industry knowledge, invaluable, and he'd be mad not to look into that. I don't know if that's a comment at me, Noel, in terms of trusting experience. I guess I'd have to ask you to elaborate on what you mean by trusting the experience. Look at the parallel business. I would disagree with that. Again, go back to my interview with Briggsy and watch the highlight in terms of COVID. Premier Battles were attempting to build a brand during what is probably the worst point in human history to build a live arm of a production company, as he's now trying to turn it into. There are circumstantial events that have worked against Premier Battles, and there are historical issues with Battle Rap that led into Prem, because Prem was a response and a reaction to a few other things as well. But I'm not going to go into that because we just don't have time. Like I said, I didn't want to. I've been going for nearly an hour, and I literally only wanted to hop on for 10 minutes. So, Razran has made the point again that it's a niche market. I understand that critique. I disagree with the fact that because it's niche now, it can't ever cross over. It all depends on how you package it. I've talked about this ad nauseum, but again, it's the only analogy I can bring to it is if you're not a gamer, you won't get this. I'm sorry, but it's the only thing I can think of. When you pick up a game for the first time and you've never played the game before, especially if it's in a genre that you're not familiar with, everything seems fucking foreign to you. It doesn't make any sense. It's frustrating. It's not fun. You're confused, disoriented a lot of the time. There's usually a penny drop moment in the game where things start to come together and coalesce and make sense. And then by the end of the game, you love it so much that you want to play through it again without that initial learning curve, right? What Prem hopefully are trying to do with this venture is to get you as the audience to that penny drop moment more quickly than at the moment, where it's basically incumbent upon you to do that. The reason I say that is because, again, if you're not on Twitter, you cannot follow UK Battle Rap. If you do not go to live events, you do not get a full flavour of what Battle Rap is, and not everyone can travel to Manchester or London. If you are not familiar of the nuances of the spoken word, a lot of Battle Rap will pass you by. And if you are not entirely familiar with the formatting of a Battle Rap event and the nomenclature and also the culture within it, i.e. what's good and bad practice in a Battle Rap event, you'll miss out. And a lot of times, there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to Battle Rap. Prem, again, are attempting to eliminate a lot of that. And I don't see it as a problem for the moment. There's nothing to suggest that any of this would be a bad thing. So I still want to give it time. Raz has commented in along you were behind in the chat. Yeah, I have a latency delay of about 2 minutes, 3 minutes to keep the stream stable. Raz, I'm sorry. Oh, no. No, you're fine. Look, again, this is why I want people's genuine opinion. The one thing I'd love is to have a space where people can just disagree. Just caught gassed. 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 You're killing me. There are 7 people here. We're all aware of who you are as well. And he's here to... He's flossing on us. There's not... It's... Battle rap content to fucking Gas Buff is like truffles to a truffle hound in Italy. He'll fucking... There's battle rap discourse around him. Fucking sniff it out. There's an opportunity to promo around here. I just know it. Oh my god. Oh god, that's so funny. I'm sorry I've derailed the entire conversation here, but I caught that in the midst of a few other bits and bobs, and that's just fucking... Oh god, that's funny. Let me go back a bit, because Noel has... so as far as the discussion here, look, I'm not here... Look, the one thing I don't want to ever hear in my chats is, you're stupid for having that opinion. Right, no. If you don't agree with someone's opinion, disregard it or debate it. Don't undermine it or fucking elicit provocation by just going after someone's... It's part of the reason that I got off Twitter initially is because you can't have a discussion at the moment. You argue past or over each other, and part of battle rap discourse has become a victim of that, because whenever someone voices an opinion, like I have done in the past, it's often just dismissed as you're being stupid or you don't understand. Let me tell you something. If your response to someone when they're making an argument is saying you don't understand what you're talking about, and you leave it there, I'm just going to infer that you're mirroring your own opinion onto me of yourself, in so much as you don't understand what you're talking about, or you don't understand how to articulate your point of view in such a way that I can comprehend it. Because if you did, maybe I'd agree with you. That would be my thing. If battle rap can soften its approach to people when it comes to having opinions about the scene, that will be a net benefit to people. It doesn't need to be as ardent. It doesn't need to be as closely guarded as a niche genre as it currently is. It can just be fun. Let it be a fun thing for people to watch on a weekend. Or I think Briggsy said that the live streaming of it on YouTube will go live on a Wednesday in January, I think. So I can't remember offhand, but yeah, just let it be fun, man. Let it just be a fun distraction for people. Don't make people feel stupid for being a fan of something. You know, everyone as a participant in this, remember that we're trying to welcome more people in to watch it on a regular basis, to expand the fan base, to ensure that battlers have an income and can reasonably respect an income. And that Gas Buff can continue his plans of world domination by building that laboratory he's always wanted. Come on now. Right. So to Noel's point about being able to express... Dude, be critical. If people disagree with me, I've never, ever discouraged people from having a discussion with me. Find an interview or find a post on Twitter in terms of battle rap discourse where I've said, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you, with one notable exception. One notable exception, because I tried... and it didn't work. Even then I tried. But my point is, I'm not adverse to hearing, especially a vigorous expression of that opinion. Fine, not a problem. I only ask that you back it up, and I only ask that you hear me when I retort. That's it. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm just saying. Right, so, to Raz's point, I'm behind with my comments, and, God... Gas Buff is on it. Oh god, I expect to go 3 up in the groups. I expect to go 3 up in this Saturday at 3. Get tickets. Oh my god, that's so funny. Also, speaking as a battler and Premier Battle staff, he's willing to talk to... If I felt... here's the thing, Gast. it's half the reason why I still would be half tempted to invite on. It's half the reason I'd be happy to debate Trubs. I just worry that would devolve into a pretty petty argument, because I think neither one of us could be adults. I don't know. Difficult to say. But I'd be happy to host those conversations and happy to have those conversations. I'm happy to accept and listen to criticism of this show. And me, always. To Gast's stance, I would love to have that kind of conversation with Prem. To say, hey, listen, let me put some of these critiques to you rather than just you seeing it in a comment. Let me try and articulate this, and it'll play devil's advocate a little bit, because I feel like when you confront and handle criticism, you win more fans than you lose anyway. Because at the very least, people can see you're trying, right? When you dodge or sideswipe it, it gets messy, and it gets tribal. So to Gas' point, he's killing all your favorites, he said at the beginning of the year, and now he's killing all of your prospects as well. So there we go. Just come and say, yeah. And Hylas is the same. Again, Hylas, you've always been welcome here to express you. Again, everyone is, man. I don't care who. The only things that I wouldn't entertain, pretty cut and dried in terms of just general philosophy. It doesn't necessarily just pertain to battle rap. Right. And Noel's getting cheeky now. How I have been going for an hour. You're right. We'll wrap this in a second. We will wrap this in a second. Anyways. Yeah, and I presume you've all seen the Bobby Rex AI stuff today. Fucking hell, lads. I will share with you. I saw the Power Rangers one a full hour before it dropped. Yeah, that was quite the thing to receive in the middle of a day at work where the office was quiet as a fucking graveyard, right? And he sends me that, and I'm expected to sit there and not react so that my colleagues don't know that I'm fucking not working. Yeah, Bobby was given the football, the football in America, the nuclear code thing, briefcase that presidents get. He was given that today, and was just mashing the nuclear button, just sending fucking nuclear warheads in every general direction. So much so, and I will share this with you, I DM'd him and said, hey Bobby, just remember, I don't count as media. Just throwing that out there in case you decide to turn your attention to the UK battle rap media. ... Or if you disagree, be gentle. Yeah. He's already referenced me in one of his battles. You and Bizzo, you and some guy awkwardly forcing chemistry on a podcast or whatever it was. I felt seen and hurt, Bobby. That hurt me to my core. I can't remember who it was. There was someone else who referenced me in a battle. I can't remember who it was now. I can't remember. TMR in the house. Hello, TMR. Gasbuff claiming he's going to shave his head in this heat. Like, fuck. Now I know you're lying. When you were saying that you had a Premier Battles unlimited budget to build an evil layer, I sort of believed that. Shaving your head? That glorious head? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Right, so. Completely lost the thread of what this fucking chat was about, by the way. What the fuck were we talking about? I have no idea anymore. I think you should try it in real time. Yes, Razran, you're right. That would be the reason I can't talk in real time is because my laptop struggles to keep pace with its zero latency. If it's almost instantaneous, my laptop chugs like a motherfucker, and I would rather have a nice, clean, consistent quality stream than a stream where, yes, I can see your question, but I cannot react to it because my computer forgets it's a computer for 5 to 10 minutes while it overheats, cooks, burns, sets fire to my entire flat complex. You know, all the good stuff. Anyways. And there's a chat going. I love how this happens, right? Right now, for people that aren't in the chat or see this after the fact, There's currently Gas Buff has taken over my chat. He's in the comment section conducting his own fucking interview about his fucking... Right, fuck this. Right, I've paid for... Because one of the frustrations about the interviews falling through, paid for Zoom. Paid for Zoom for another fucking month, right? So now I can't use Zoom. Fuck this. Gast, where the fuck are you? Get your cat... Wherever you are, I know you're near a laptop. Get the fuck logged into Zoom. Right the fuck... You're not hijacking my goddamn comment section, you motherfucker. You've got the weekend coming up. You've got an entire tournament. You've got 1,000 other people to hop... You are not hijacking my chat as well. Fuck out of here. Dojo, what the fuck is this potato thing? You've been talking to Koopa, you motherfucker. Hi, Dojo, by the way. Good to see you, my young friend. It's a fucking potato thing. Do you know what? Fuck it. Give me a second. I'm putting this to bed right now. Give me a second. Give me 30 seconds. Types of potatoes. Right, what potato types are there? What are there's 7 different types of potatoes. There's russets, reds, yellows, whites, fingerlings, petites, and purples and blues. The fuck are they? I don't even know what this is anymore. Koopa just threw it out in the chat the other day. What the fuck is a fingerling? Did Koopa set that up just to fuck with me? Does Koopa have the ability to edit Google pages now? I don't know. I'm a fan of the types that come. I'm a fan of the types of potatoes that come in the bag you buy in the supermarket, and you can mash them and put mince in it, and there you go. How's that, Dojo? Does that? Right. How is it pronounced? That someone threw that one out there the other day. Right. Daphon what? I use words like hippomonstrosity, quipdiliophobia, and anti-establishmentarianism, but I have no idea what the fuck that word is. What the fuck is that word? Daff potatoes? Is that what you're after? There you go. So, apparently you make them into slices. I don't know. I don't eat potatoes, motherfuckers. I don't eat potatoes. I don't eat many carbs these days, and if I eat carbs, it's rice. I don't know if there were any carbs in... I had swordfish and callaloo today from a Jamaican place. I don't know if that has pasta or potatoes in it. It had something in it because I felt a surge of energy afterwards because I miss carbs. I miss carbs. Gast. Is Gast getting his shit together? Right, 2 seconds. Excellent. Gast is ceasing to hijack my fucking live stream. Good question. Gast, how am I going to get you I don't think you follow me on Twitter, because my new account has, like, 2 fucking followers on it. And I don't have WhatsApp either. Hang on. How the fuck? Let's get this. Because I think Gast can use this as an opportunity to kind of address some of the critique in this chat, as well as also do what the original chat was supposed to do, which is promo and preview people. Although I feel like a lot of people have heard of Gas Buff. Any of you heard of Gas Buff before? I don't get patties, Dojo. I'm not allowed them. I don't give a fuck about your features. Right. Stupid Zoom. Go away. Right, so that'll go there. Alright. Fuck, in that case, right. You're going to see my computer's performance die now, everybody. I hope you're happy. Let's go. New meeting. Copy that invite. You're going to have to bear with... again, you're already talking amongst yourselves in the chat. Dojo's asking questions about potatoes and whether or not I eat patties from the Jamaican place. No, I like the swordfish because the swordfish is spicy as shit and it's tasty as fuck. And the callaloo is just like, I think it's spinach and like a little bit of cauliflower in it. It's like, and it's tasty. It's like tangy. It's good. It's good shit. Expensive though. £10. £10 for a swordfish, and that's expensive. That's just me. I don't know. Right, let's go. Gah. There we go. Oh, we do follow each other. Good for you, Gust. There you go. Right. Invitation is pasted. It's the just save you. I don't know why it does this, but it's the top bit for when you get it, Gast. Anyway. Right, let's see if it holds up when Gast hops on. God, this will be interesting. Because then I'm going to have to set it up before he goes live. It's the second time I've demanded Gast Buff hop on live. Because he's just in the chat and I'm like, fuck you, you're getting on my show right now. I think I've only invited Gast on once. The only other times he's been demanded by... No, this is like a fucking peer review for him. It's like, no, you're coming on because I'm not happy with your performance. Alright. Oh, God. Oh. Why do I have to be ill while I'm doing this as well? Dojo's asking, who's winning the tournament and what are they ordering from the Jamaican Cafe? Talk amongst yourselves. God. Gast is here. He is here. You're not going to be able to see me though, Gast. Nah, it's because, right, I'm going to do two things. Oh, man. Oh, we'll give it time. Give it time. It's probably me. Right, so let me change. Because people who are on YouTube won't be seeing or hearing you just yet. Because I'm going to turn my side off. My video off in sense of... I just want to... hide... There you go. Hide non-video participants. It's... There you go. Right. In that case, fuck me. No, go away. Stupid. They can hear you now. That's all that matters, really. Criticisms, critiques. Why aren't you Premier Battles Undisputed Tournament Champion yet? We all know it's already been pre-recorded. It was recorded last year during some period of time that none of us were paying attention. And you're just building it up because you already have it in the can and you know you're winning. So why don't you have a title yet? When you say you're looking forward to the tournament, oh, is Gast muted? Oh, for God's sake! Right, hang on. Media source. Here's my question then. How are you muted? How are you muted? That doesn't make a lick of sense. That doesn't make sense, Gast. It doesn't make sense. Because the desktop is on. So how is it not working? But you can say whatever you want and no one can hear you. You can call me any name under the sun and they can only hear me say, you feel that way about kittens? Right. Fucking. What you can do is you can go back to hijacking my comment section, which is what you were doing in the first place, you son of a bitch. How dare you come here hyping yourself up. Right, let me figure out why Gast is muted. Why is Gast muted? Doesn't make any sense. Why is Gast muted? It doesn't make sense. This is so dumb. Why am I so bad at this, Gast? Why is it not working though? It doesn't make sense because the desktop audio, that's just fine. That is working just fine. And maybe it's this? Does that make it different? Try talking now for me.
Hello, test 1 2.
Oh, there you are. It's my fucking side because I'm a stupid moron. There you go. Now it works. Right. You were saying something about not feeling very confident about the tournament.
Oh yeah, man. I expect to get washed. Frankly, it's I'm surprised I made the cut given the quality of competition that signed up. So I'm very grateful to be given this chance to redeem myself at this critical juncture of this rebuild.
Genuinely, right? Let me ask you. A lot of people have kind of gone after this notion of you can't put no names or people that are not rated and da in this kind of format. It's not going to generate the publicity you want. It's not going to generate the traction you want. I have been basically saying the complete opposite. I think that's just jack shit, and you're missing the point of it in the first place, which is you are trying to showcase people in a different way. You are trying to get the rocket strapped to some of these guys who maybe haven't had the opportunity that they would have been afforded if you're looking at it from a purely dispassionate perspective. Tell me what your take on it is as a participant, but also as a staff member.
I mean, as I say, that's pretty much the way I try to look at it. Is I'm looking at it from the perspective of, as a competitor, this is how I would like to be presented. I look at it as staff in terms of this is what we need to do for the company, and I'll try not to retread much stuff that we've already talked about on like the announcement stream and everything else, but this is mostly going to be me speaking as my take rather than, you know, as Prem staff, because realistically this is mostly in Briggsy's court. Briggsy's the one taking ownership of all of this, and he's the one with, you know, all the ideas, the work that man is putting in behind the scenes to try and make this work, and the logistical side of it is frankly incredible, so I'm going to give him all the flowers for that. But I just think it comes up all the time that people always say that, oh, these new battlers have no personality, that people aren't interested in writers anymore, and all, you know, the usual critique. And I think there's a lot of truth to that, honestly, but if you're not actively following like people on socials or the scene like religiously, if you're only really watching the battles, you're probably not seeing a lot of that personality shine through. So, you know, if people want more storylines and they want more character, we're just going to give them more stuff in general. Like this whole show format, it's not meant to be just a cappella battle, a cappella battle, a cappella battle. We want to have more, you know, interviews and more like curated way to introduce like not the battlers as people, and, you know, let the storylines build organically, but also give them a bit of garnish on the side and things. So yeah,
do you think, though, just coming back to it, no, because this is the thing. As far as that aspect of it, garnering the attention and giving people more buy-in with guys, right? Are we just spoiled by the previous era? Like, you had a myriad of different guys that just seemed to always be around and always be a big deal. But when you actually go, because I've done the retrospectives now, you go back and you see some of the guys when they're first performing. And maybe they're just kind of getting the occasional laugh, or not. They're not getting room shaker after room shaker because it's O'Shea, or because it's Bobby Rex, or because it's Shuffle T. No, this guy's still proving himself. It's just that they had a different era to work with and a different level of attention. The current crop are doing about as well as can be expected, and this is one of those times where an opportunity like this could be the catalyst. It could be that crystallizing moment that this guy puts it together, or this girl has a moment, or just for whatever reason this particular battle is like, fuck man, you got to check this battle out, something happened and it's crazy. Like, talk to me about that from your, again, you're going to be a participant, you're hopefully going to be a beneficiary of this, and you're, again, as I've made the point, you've been in both worlds effectively. You're a guy that's got a reputation now, but who could elevate to the next level. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think a lot of people look at this and there seems to be this understanding that battle rap randomly woke up and just decided to be shit, and decided that, hey, we'd love for views to halve every 2 years. That's exactly what we want. That's by design. Like, we're trying to book like the best cards we can with the most competitive battlers that we can, but there's so much that's working against us from every other aspect. Like, travel costs have gone through the fucking ceiling. Like it used to be, even me as a new fan, like I'm post lockdown in terms of actually attending. It used to be way easier for me to fucking attend events in London or Manchester every other week. Like and I'm like the cheapest bastard ever when it comes to travel. I'll get a fucking like megabus made of paper clips at the crack of dawn if it means I can travel for like the cheapest chips.
Preach.
But there's people that they'll swear by a train or they'll need a hotel in order to get to these things, and that's not feasible. Especially if you're not having these big unforgettable events which are only really happening once a year now, and it's between like top tiers that are like 10 years deep at this point. My understanding is when battle rap was popping, there was so much that made it so much more accessible. Like the battlers themselves were way younger. They had fingers in other pies. They had existing music careers. A lot of the guys that have come through these days are fans of battle rap. They're kind of already in the bubble when they start. And, you look at what access it had in order to get that audience. Like Don't Flop was popping, but Don't Flop was also in the YouTube algorithm before it decided that you needed to use words like unalive and grape in order to make a penny from it. It was around in the time when Lad Bible was popping and Facebook wasn't an AI hive of shit. Like there was so much extra stuff that made battle rap easier to find. And it's not like we've really lost those things, because God knows every now and then one clip will go super fucking viral. Speaking from direct experience in there, but even then a lot of those views haven't really ticked over. Like I don't think that many people go from the Anderson battles to my other battles. I don't think a lot of people went from Pen Game to Koj and Cray G's other stuff. There seems to be whatever's happened to YouTube has created this very weird funnel and bottleneck that makes content harder to find. And we just need to find a way to make it more accessible. Like, it feels like whenever we put out the question of like, oh, what can battle rap do? It's always like, oh yeah, just do Shotty Gemini. It's like, oh, you've cracked it. Yeah, of course. Why didn't we just do Shotty Lux weekly? Why did that never think of us? We've got all these extra thousands of pounds down the back of the couch. Like, I don't know, man. Like, numbers are down across the board. We've made no secret of that. The YouTube figures are down. Attendance is down for various reasons. We basically looked at it and said the main thing that we bring together collectively is we're all really fucking good at post-production. Like I do editing and producing, Rick does producing and photography, Briggsy does producing and video editing. We've all got we've got access to Shotty's studio and HQ and all the professional equipment. He has ready access to it, and we just looked at it like maybe we need to just present it better. Maybe we need to go for more of a show format rather than a live event format. And maybe, maybe the right clip will find the right people, but the alternative was that we just keep doing it as it's going and it dies anyway, frankly. Like, it's all well and good saying, oh, Pen Game's doing this. Pen Game's an on-beat league. They tried a cappella. Their audience hated a cappella. We're not going to become an on-beat league to try and leech off a niche that they've already filled at this point. Like, it would be lovely if some more Pen Game guys gave a cappella a shot, because God knows when Miss Inc. and people like that have tried it, they've ended up getting ridiculous numbers, but it doesn't seem to work vice versa for whatever reason.
Let me because I agree with you. I'm of the opinion that unfortunately audiences are fickle, and aspects of production can sometimes undermine the quality of your product, even if at its core it's great. But it's fine. It's just I'm not a big fan. And you go like, really? That's the thing you're hanging up whether or not you'll give my content a shot. So framing it in a certain way is I'm all on for it. But okay, let me play devil's advocate for just a second, and I'm going to do this while you can't look me in the eye and say this. So you can imagine I am the biggest piece of shit arsehole, bigger even still than I currently am. Okay, up the production all you want. Two guys who are not as experienced as the guys I grew up with or I'm used to cannot produce battles that are as good. You are never going to get the level that I demand from my battle rap.
Mm-hmm.
Answer that criticism in the way that I feel that you will, which is the whole point of it, which is you can't build new narratives with old guys. You have to inject new talent and give them a platform to build those narratives. Otherwise, you'll end up circling back to the same place that you started in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's relatively accurate. Like, I feel like Apex was, it kind of had this weird moment in the build up to it where it almost felt like a swan song. Like, you've got all these incredibly talented people, like great vibes, great atmosphere, great everything. I loved Apex. It was fantastic. But there was this almost vibe of finality to it. Like, this was going to be the last big event. This was going to be, this guy's last battle or this guy's last battle. And yeah, it feels like we're having a bit of a resurgence, almost as if we're going for like a hard reset. But that's also quite nice in the sense that the people that have signed up for the tournament are the people that we know want to be involved in this going forward. Like, as much as it would have been nice to have like veterans in this tournament so that we had the potential upsets and the storylines we could build from it and their potential fan base, as much as it would have been nice to have like the killers of the current crop, it would have been really nice to have a Maverick or a Reverse in that bracket. But we can only work with what we have at the end of the day, and that might be a blessing in disguise. Like, maybe going for a hard reset, something might click with someone that's never seen battle rap before, and next thing you know, they're bringing in an audience. For all we know, like Burt Broadbent might have like one really funny round against someone that just blows up, and out of nowhere, Burt becomes a new star. And I can preemptively see the critique that people are going to have for the tournament in the future, where they're going to look at all the names that didn't do it, and they're going to say it's shit, and they're going to say it's not a real tournament, and if XYZ was in it, they would have swept it. And as soon as, like, doesn't matter, honestly, like, they didn't want to do the tournament, they're not in the tournament, they're not the focus. That's the way I look at it. We can do exhibitions and shit next year if this works and we start returning to live events and it pops off. But the way I'm looking at it from my perspective is, as a battler, I would find it kind of disrespectful if, theoretically speaking, I go through this whole tournament, I win 7 matches in a row, and then a top tier, a current top tier, a valid, genuinely talented person came out and just said, I want a title shot. And I'd be like, for what? Honestly.
Let me again pose something to you, because I want to I want to make sure that it's not just a case of me just because this is an annoying thing for me. I'm on board with it. I think it's a long overdue, dispassionate evaluation of where not only Prem but battle rap is in the UK, and it's a strive to try and rectify that. But that's not how some people see it. One of the other critiques is the gap in content. The idea that, wait, so let me get this straight. You guys are taking your oars out of the water for 6 months, effectively, because of my habit. My habit is I go to live events or I see it on YouTube. I'm not as accustomed to watching it on Patreon. I'm not as accustomed to watching it week by week. And I'm certainly not accustomed to having to wait after it's been filmed so long for it to drop, right? I know that there's been steps taken to mitigate that. But I say, right, number one, subscribe to the fucking Patreon then. Number one, because then you might get tickets to be able to go to the live recording of it. If you don't want to do that for whatever reason, or that's not appropriate for whatever reason, right, you'll be able to see it on these dates because these will be where it's streaming. But then you can catch it. But look, this is the business model we're going here with, guys. To people that say, well, but what about that gap though? Like, what am I supposed to do for 6 months? How would you answer that criticism?
I mean, for the first and foremost is we have so much content pre-filmed that by the time we're actually ready to reveal the first show, we'll pretty much be just wrapping up all the live events that we've already filmed. Like, we haven't even started dropping battles from Apex yet. We've still got a couple short circuit battles, I think. We've got all of this undisclosed and this next short circuit that we've got. So we've got about another 2-3 months of video content to drop in the first place anyway, even if we slow it down to 1 a week. And we can always find more content to drop in the interim, even if it's like a making of, introductory videos to people in the league. We will have content, and if it turns out we do just transition into being a content channel, that's a thing we'll do. Briggsy's got everything already lined up in terms of time frame and everything else, so I don't think we'll struggle much in that regard, I think there might be potentially some teething troubles during this transition, but there's also going to be a lot of stuff that I think we'll be able to try that we haven't done before, that a lot of other leagues haven't done before, and that'll be quite exciting. Like the way I always see it in my head is like if we have, it's battle day, a battler doesn't show up. Historically, that has just meant there is a battle that doesn't drop on the YouTube or gets rescheduled to another event. And as far as like the audience knows, it didn't happen. It gives us this almost, I would not cruel, but almost this just way of going, right, well now we can make content out of that. If someone's in our studio standing around going, where the fuck's my opponent? I've got 3 rounds written, and their opponent no shows. Now we've got like a reality TV thing that we can film, and we can put that in the show, and we can turn it in the narrative of, yeah, this guy didn't show up, or this guy's vanished from the fucking bracket. That's 2 events in a row he's not turned up. He's probably not going to turn up for the 3rd one, but let's wait and see. Like, rather than it just vanishing into the ether. Like, that's the way that we're looking at it from a production standpoint of, you not turning up to the show will become part of the show now.
Has any consideration been given to showcasing not just the battlers, but not staff members, like following them around day to day? Like, what's your job? Well, I do the lighting, and then you film him for 9 hours doing the lighting. I'm not saying that, but like, I am thinking of things like Embedded. I am thinking of things like some of the WWE productions where they go into the behind the scenes of how events happened and some of the back, not necessarily manufacture the drama or even focus on the drama, but add an element of, like, because Briggsy has obviously done the live streams. And you can see that even though he's trying to articulate things in a certain way, there are still things that can't be certain because you don't know how it's going to pan out until you're there on the day, actually recording, actually dealing with it, because it's its own thing. And you'll need reps to get good. Has any consideration been given to... Because I feel like that element could help the brand of Prem. Forget the tournament for a second, but this idea that it's built up of passionate, dedicated, clever, artistically creative and driven people that sometimes are just left with the bag when it comes to some of this stuff. Like you say, when there's a cancellation or a dropout or a card doesn't come together, it's like, well, all we have is an apology. We can't show you the thousands of hours it took to get here because no one was standing there with a camera. Like, has any thought been given to that at all?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Like, my understanding is our goal is on filming day, just film everything. Just get as much content of any variety that we can, see what we're left with at the end of it, decide if any of it is good or usable, and then just chop, 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 and then decide what we end up with, even if it's a case of, right, we do like an entire behind the scenes thing, we have just like snippets in between battles. I'm sure we'll figure out what to do. Like, Briggsy's very media minded in that regard.
The only other thing I would ask is in terms of geography, because of course one of the problems I've found with following battle rap in recent years is the fact that it's either Manchester or London. If you're not commutable to either one of those things, tough. Is part of the content schedule an attempt to try and bridge that gap for people in the sense of, right, your viewing habits, we're trying to change, we're trying to make sure it's accessible to you when you know it's going to be there, where you know it's going to be there, rather than putting so much impetus on being there live, which can cause problems for people not knowing, well, can I get there? If I can get there, am I going to gamble going there in case the card falls apart? All this other stuff is part of the pitch. Let's say, look, guys, we're trying to eliminate a lot of the uncertainty that comes from following battle rap in a modern era by saying we're standing by a certain level of quality, a certain timetable, a certain schedule. Is part of that the pitch?
Exactly. We want the focus to be on the night the show drops. We want people to be aware that, I think it was Sunday we were considering doing it. I don't know what day it was, but we want people to have in their head, say, okay, Wednesday, 8 p.m., that's Prem night. That's when Prem drop their show, their hour-long, 2-hour-long, however long it is, and we just air it in bulk as a series, and then we just see how it goes, man. Like, we're not too fast. Like, my understanding is we are still running Manchester and London as the 2 main filming locations. We are treating it like a film shoot rather than an event. As I say, like, call sheets, the works. If we do end up going back to live events next year, maybe we'll consider places like Birmingham, Leeds, other places. But yeah, my understanding is that we want the focus to be on the show, and if the show takes off, we'll see what we get off the back of that. But we're not putting like any real stock in live event. Obviously, we'd love for the final to be a big banging card, but it's not like we're looking at this thinking like, oh, we need to run Leeds or Cardiff or anywhere. It's genuinely not a consideration right now, in all honesty.
Well, it's a build it in, they will come sort of situation. If you build the brand big enough where people stop second guessing, they're effectively like, no, I have to go. I need to, because I've seen what it's like now. When I've seen the finished product, now I want to be a part of that, and you're building that sort of anticipation. I totally get that. I have a sort of selfish question. I have to ask it, and I'm sorry, because I've made the point a couple of times. I sort of pitched this in May. Now, can you tell me, because I'm sure it's been going on longer than that, how long has this concept been kicking around for? Is it something that has been going around for a while, or was there a catalyst that you're aware of that said, guys, we got to do this. Fuck it, let's do this. To your mind or to your knowledge, what happened?
I'm gonna be completely candid with this one, mate. I genuinely don't know. I learned about this after my battle with Frost was confirmed for Apex. I want to say it was a couple weeks before Apex. Like when we did the announcement, I learned literally a day before we announced it to the public. So however long Briggsy and Shotty and all the people more involved in the business side of things have been aware of it, I couldn't say for sure, but I know that we had a big, thorough talk through on the production side of things, and the detail that went into that PowerPoint that we all got shown, and that's just the one that we showed to the public. So I know there'll be a more detailed one with like actual figures. We do this. We do like actual production meetings, like a business, where we sit down, we look at the numbers, the figures, and everything else. So I've no doubt there is a big ass document that supports everything that Briggsy's saying, that made it look like, this is the Hail Mary we have to take. But in terms of how long it's been in the pipeline, genuinely couldn't tell you.
It seems that you were muted for this. So just to recap what Gar said, he said that they totally stole my idea, and that there's a check coming my way that's sizable and life-changing. I know it's big because I've seen Gar's evil layer now. Thanks, Red Wolf. That was thoroughly entertaining. That's a complete tangent. How does it feel that your title of Promo King is being, well, I wouldn't say it's usurped quite yet. He's still got a way to go to usurping it. But young Red Wolf, and now Big Bobby Rex, has found an AI button and is mashing that motherfucker like a QuickTime event in a goddamn Kojima game that's got Raiden in it and not fucking Snake. Are you nervous? Are you trepidatious about your title as Promo King, or are these just pretenders to the throne?
Well, it's always nice to be an inspiration, isn't it? I respect that Red Wolf is actually putting the effort into promo. God knows that's something I've wanted for an opponent for a while. It's taken me some time, but I've had the last 2 weeks to fire back. 2 days, I should say. So the fact that AI machines can do what they do, hopefully that didn't burn down a forest doing it, but it was very funny, maybe worth, who knows. But no, genuinely, man, it's cool. I love it. As long as it's all lighthearted and everything, I don't give a shit. I just think it's all good fun. So long as it draws attention to the match that's happening and keeps it in public consciousness, that's all I really care about. But I'm looking forward to this weekend, man. I think, like, part of the reason that you're gonna think I'm a madman when I say this, part of the reason I have been so slow on the promo was I did also have another battle next weekend as well, which I was drastically behind on writing for. Thankfully that has been rescheduled, which then freed me up to actually fire back on promo.
That's because again, I was sitting there thinking like, what's going? He's not he has to respond. Why is he letting this go? But nah, because that's the thing. I have to remind people, like, you work too hard, my friend. You work entirely too hard. Which I'll let, because it's late and because we've gone much longer than I anticipated I was going to originally. We were going an hour and a half, don't you know? That was just me going on Twitter for 5 minutes to say, hey, invite people onto my show, please. I want to do more interviews. And I ended up with an interview. So I guess it worked. It's less of an interview, more of an inquisition, I will grant you. 2 last questions for you, if I may. Number 1, the weekend.
Yep.
You're looking forward to it, no doubt. There are tickets available. You should buy them, no doubt. Why should people turn up to the event? Why are people... Well, again, I'm paying a dismissive arsehole. Ghast. So-called Ghast buff. Why am I going to pay my hard-earned money to come and see you at the weekend?
So you're going to come this weekend because Jeeves has put on an absolute shift for the UK scene over the last 2 years or however long he's been. He's a Netherlands legend and it might be his last battle over here. And he deserves for people to buy him a pint because Quicksilver's really motivated for this because we've got 4 very hungry academy battlers who are going to be very eager to make a great showing of themselves because they're either going to get in a bracket with each other where there's not just a spot in the title tournament going up for grabs, but also an international because I believe we are still honouring that as part of the academy. And even the ones who don't win are going to get 3 banger matches because they're going to be put into very competitive brackets in the season. And then we got Kingsley Thunder, who we booked an entire leaving do for, and then he didn't actually leave against LS Dean, who, as his former housemate, will have all the personals. So I can't wait to see how incredibly great and/or uncomfortable that battle is. And then in the main event, we have me with 3 rounds that I am very pleased with against someone that I agreed to battle last year. It got delayed and delayed because of various things that I'd already agreed to. I know it's a battle he wants. I know he's hungry to prove he's top tier. Let's see if he can, because I'm feeling pretty top tier myself.
Speaking of that status, all joking aside, you realise one before last was it you in Reverse?
Yep, Reverse and then Frost.
Okay. And then this was at Oldham. Again, Oldham was you and Bobby before that.
Yep.
This will be the 3rd time that I've seen you effectively headline a card, dude.
Mm-hmm.
When are we dropping all this pretense of may win the tour? Like, aren't you and this is how you know I'm being serious. I'm turning to the audience. I'm ignoring you for a second, Gus, and I'm hyping you up. So just give me a second. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Gas Buff is the real fucking deal now. We're past the meta of this. He is a bona fide star in this scene, and he's a bona fide contender for any fucking accolade that you wish to offer up to the battlers of the world. This tournament is a serious opportunity for you to not only claim the win, but really establish yourself now as, look, it's not meta anymore, it's not tongue-in-cheek anymore. You are top tier. Tell me about what the opportunity means to you.
It genuinely means the world, man. Like, you've seen me respond to battles historically and how I've talked about how I feel coming out of it. So you know that my default is always to say, it's nice. I feel like I've got a way to go. And even trying to be humble, I am looking at my year, at my consistency, at the levels that I'm writing, at the tier of my peers that are talking to me and giving me the feedback they're given. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I might genuinely be in a shot for Battler of the Year this year. Like, Koj, I think, is definitely cinched the top spot unless someone else has a real great back half. I'd actually put myself second for Battler of the Year based on this year. Looking at the entire bracket and everyone in it, the improvement that I've had, I would be fucking stunned if it's not me and Viz in the final. Genuinely stunned. And that's a battle I want. In my head, I am prepping for that. I'm not taking the gas off for the other 6 battles I've got to win to get there, but I'm genuinely looking at this. Like I have always said, I'm so driven to find my ceiling in this. Like, I've done every tournament I can. I did Academy, I did Entitled for Don't Flop, and I was always going to do Anarchy, or Where Winning Matters, or whatever we're calling this right now. I genuinely want to win the belt. I genuinely want to put my name out there to, last year I was saying I would love to be like considered down the line, for continental champion down the line. Like, once Bobby's either lost or hung up the belt, to be the guy. Look, Gasbuff has got those international connections. Let's see if he can do it. But if there's an opportunity like this in my lap, and I don't want to hear any excuses of, there was no competition. I'll just beat who they put in front of me. And I know that Viz and there's a bunch of other people in there, Dub T, Pagan, D-Burke, that are going to be hungry to do the same. But I just think the level that I have continually been year on year and still continue to improve. I want to win this fucking tournament, man. I don't care about the money. I want the prestige. And if Gem is either up for putting the belt up or hangs the belt up and the tournament becomes for the title, like, I either want to be champion or I want to get a title match, and which also means I want to be champion, funnily enough. But no, I can't wait. As a competitor, I am chomping at the bit for this tournament.
That's great to hear. The sad thing is, though, I've just been informed reliably by the chat that Dojo is going to win the tournament. But in unrelated but separate news, Pagan is also winning the tournament. So I'm not entirely sure how all three of you are going to win. I look forward to seeing how that pans out, considering, of course, we already know it's already been pre-recorded. We already know that it's all in the can, and this is just making us wait for months and months and months for no other reason than just to watch us squirm.
Oh yeah, I'm editing the tournament. It's rigged as fuck.
It's harsh. It's harsh. You know. It's. You know. I'm just saying. Like, come on, hook a brother up. Just let me know, how badly do you win in the final? Just. Is it Bloodsport-esque? Does the guy, like, do you beat up the guy for the first 2 minutes and then he blinds you, cheap shots you, and then somehow you remember you could do Kung Fu blind, but you didn't do that the whole tournament?
Yeah, I mean, there was a little part where we kind of had to pretend that we weren't hitting record and we made Kupar do it again from scratch. But other than that, the final was great.
This is the thing. You can have so much fun with anything you want. I see this as such an opportunity as a clean slate for not only battlers within the tournament, but Prem to just go, right, what do we want to do? What do we want to make this? It can be anything we want it to be. What's good? What works? What can we pull off consistently and on a regular basis? And let's just fucking do that. So I'll be looking forward to seeing how that pans out. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, that Gast has effectively had to stare at himself for the last 20 minutes.
It's my hobby of mine.
I mean, I know I'm depriving him of the ability to look at this oddly. The glasses were on purpose, by the way. I definitely ordered these thinking that I was going to look like fucking Clark Kent. Didn't realize they were quite as big as they were when I ordered them. But, dude, I want to say thank you because it is late and I've taken up too much of your time. So thank you for jumping on.
At all, man.
I was going to say we'd turn to the comments in case anyone else has any questions for you, because who the fuck cares what I think? But it looks like it's just Dojo asking what you'd order from a Jamaican cafe and who's going to win the tournament. We've already answered the latter. What do you order from the Jamaican cafe?
You know, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm very behind on my Jamaican food. I wouldn't know what to order.
Have you ever tried callaloo or swordfish?
I have not, no.
Order some callaloo and then ask if they've got swordfish. If they say no to the swordfish, get the fried chicken.
Completely valid. I am a little disappointed that we did lose Null. I was looking forward to actually answering some questions. Maybe I'll bother him on Twitter later or something.
I mean, I'll leave it on that. With regards to the general negative, because this is the dismount for you. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign off after we let Gas go. There won't be a preamble afterwards. I've dealt with most of the comments, so I think we're good. But people that are just on the fence or just plain negative, right? I want you to use this as an opportunity to just say, right, as a participant, again, not as a staff member, as just someone that's angling to win the tournament and would like the support of people to do that. What are you saying to people that are just generally down on it or just a bit dismissive or just aren't sold? Talk to them for a second.
Just give it a shot. Like, it's what we're doing at the end of the day. We're trying something completely new, and if that doesn't work, then we'll either go back to what did, we'll try something new again, we will try something. Like, the fact we're doing this in the first place should make it very clear to people that we welcome change, but we're also not going to change what we are. You know, we are an a cappella battle rap league. We do work in post-production. Pen Game can have their numbers. We're not going to be Pen Game light just to mimic their numbers. We're going to do what feels right for us. We're going to try and make the sort of content we would want to see, and hopefully it'll be what other people are interested in as well. We're not going to grow doing what we're currently doing, and we're certainly not going to grow from copying what other people are doing. Let's try something new and let's see how it goes.
And on that note, I'm going to do something I never do before. I'm mic dropping this bitch. We out, bitches. See you soon.
Amazing. No, like I say, man, I had no plans. I had nothing better to do. Happy to. Not yet. It'll take a minute, but there we go. I'm good, man. I'm good.